The Aboriginal tradition behind the spear is composed of skill, culture, and close identity with the Australian region. Today I have for you a compilation of research regarding the Australian Aboriginal tribes, their emotions, social customs, and a little about the Aboriginal spear. The spear has been primarily used for two things: hunting and fighting. Hunting big game in the region has been a shared culture due to its reliability. Spears are composed of a long shaft, often wooden, and accompanied by detachable barbs as points. There are prehistoric documents of the spear being used for hunting. Australia's northwestern wilderness is home to the Kimberley rock art sequence, a well-preserved body of rock art. According to the Funkhauser et al. And O'Connor, there is excavated evidence of a 40,000-year minimum of sequential span. Notice the human form in this image. Archaeologists are super interested in the lengthy depiction of the human form. Though often male-dominated, there is a section of the sequence of women from the irregular infill animal period, a sect of stylistic form within the rock art that depicts themed dominance of animals, fish, and yams. This painting of women is very unique, as most human figures were rare, as well as weaponry. Yet here are some short, simple spear shafts impaling the women in the back, buttocks, and mouth, as described by Walsh and Morwood. Note the lack of, or possibly underappreciated, spear points or attachments. Although the spear has a little chance of survival in the archaeological record, these rock paintings serve to aid the evident spear culture that continues today throughout the most contemporary document of Australian Aborigines. As aforementioned, most spears are wooden. The Winta and Kulata are two basic classes of Western Desert Aboriginal spears. The Winta, a barbless thrusting spear, is mainly a fighting spear, and the Kulata is used in hunting as well as fighting, both acts benefiting from a barb point. Near limestone flats and along creek beds, straight branches, roots, or trunks of trees are sought for best throwing spears. In this region, the mulga tree. And eyeing for quality is definitely a skill. Once chosen, the outer bark is removed and stripped. You can use your teeth for this, and trimming for appropriate length is done with a stone scraper, or a pumpat. Any bends in the shaft are to be removed by a heating process. A bed of ashes or hot coals is laid and used to heat moisture and set the straightening. You want to use your foot to press down, and while pressing down, use your hands to lift around it, as seen as in this image by Gould. Some embellishment has since occurred to spears. Behind the necessary craft of the shafts are attachments and spear points. Among the most interesting weaponry is the death spear, out of the Cape York Peninsula. Also known as the dread spear, its name derived from the reputation it had on the Europeans, as well as the nasty wound it could leave. In most cases, the spear is altered and cut with grooves in order to hold these jagged pieces of stone, and sometimes European glass. The stone chips and glass are said to simulate the attachment of shark teeth. From Sydney to Gascoyne, this was documented to have been distributed along the southern coast of Australia. Some knives have also been crafted in this way, including the addition of gum layer as adhesive. Note this composite spear. These stone-headed spears have been linked off the Gulf of Carpentaria, located in the northern part of the continent. Identified by its pressure chipping and elliptical cross-section, the stone-headed spear has diffused eastward into northern Australia and southeastern into central Australia. And the blades have been imported and traveled and carried as far south, nearly 100 miles from the nearest manufacturer. There are three types of barbs that are detachable, as described by Davidson. There are those made of wood, which derives two varieties: the wooden round cross-section and the wooden flat cross-section. The third barb variety is made of bone. As the name describes, these attachments can be added to a wooden shaft. And I suppose they can be reusable if repossessed, huh? The most serviceable of the three is the bone barb, due to its solidity and strength, and it causes durability in the wilderness. Its use is documented by Davidson to concentrate in the Queensland and Cape York Peninsula. The bone barb serves as both a detachment as well as a spear point. I'm going to now shift the conversation towards aggression and fighting. Because the Australian Aborigines continue to use the spear, they have become a reliable weapon. They can also be used to cause threat, especially if it can be repeated for quality and craftsmanship. We'll be talking about emotions and how they have been studied with the help of Australian tribes. In the northern Queensland is a sect known as Cape York Peninsula, home to the Week-Munkun tribe in Aurukun. They were joined by David McKnight in Aurukun. With the help of the Week-Munkun tribe, they established an ethnographic document of how kin interact during argument. Some arguments lead to fights, with or without weapons. Most fights occur between men for various reasons, which we'll discuss later. Women are also found fighting and argue between each other, and join in other quarrels between men. Some of the reasoning behind these arguments are a variety of disrespect, petition for wives, sexual jealousy, adultery, or disrespect of the dead, also behavior of children, gossip, and sorcery. Although no killings happen, it has occurred that some injuries needed serious medical attention. Some of the fights were done in boxing events, as seen by the anthropologists, and mostly among the younger men. The elder men, however, would fight with more traditional weapons, including spears, clubs, or just hands. These incidents begin with warm-up periods that include insults and verbal challenges. Tongue biting is also seen, and is received as a scolding. Voices are raised and attention is given, and it is what often attracts a crowd. It is said that sorcery is used during fights. People have been noticed to slip into their homes and gaining magic, be it for their weapons or on their hands. Magic is said to benefit the fight and deem a winner in a duel, but most fights documented by McKnight have ended in lessening. Fred Myers studied with the Pintupi people and wrote about the universality of emotions, specifically anger, and its recognition among different people. Along with the studies by Carol Travis, it is cited in her study regarding anger that anger is an emotion that shows a sense of ought, and that others are responsible for your respect. Although compassion is a heavy aspect of the Pintupi culture known as Nagaltu, anger and fighting are encouraged. It is okay with the tribe to become angry, as it shows autonomy and a relatedness to kinship and quality control.